If the Detroit Lions were to move on from DeAndre Swift, it should come as no surprise. His draft mate, Jeff Okudah, selected in the first round of the same draft, has already been traded pre-draft to the Atlanta Falcons, getting the Detroit Lions another pick in the 2023 NFL Draft. And DeAndre Swift, I've been saying for months that he is a trade asset. Now, the issue with Swift is he is on the last year of his deal, so a team that was willing to take him, he reminds me a lot of a more talented Amir Abdullah. If a team was willing to take him on the last year of his deal, then he would be a great trade asset. And comes out from Walter Football. This guy's name is Charlie Campbell, that teams have called the Detroit Lions about trading DeAndre Swift. I told you. Everyone knew, and my Detroit Lions fan base would not be sad if this was to happen. But let's check this out and see what they had to say. This is coming from Fan Nation All Lions. In every NFL draft, some veteran players are shopped around and teams are making calls trying to acquire a veteran. One player to watch this year is Lions running back DeAndre Swift. Teams have been calling Detroit to see if Swift is available after the franchise signed David Montgomery in free agency. Swift has played really well for Detroit when on the field, but has had a hard time staying healthy. Swift is in the last year of his contract, so teams probably won't be willing to give up anything more than a mid-round pick. Swift will be an interesting player to monitor because some teams are interested in making a deal for the fourth-year pro. Now, this is fantastic news to me. We all know what DeAndre Swift is capable of, and nobody wants to see him succeed more than us. But just like we parted ways with Jeff Okudah, it may be time to part ways with DeAndre Swift as well. And I wouldn't lose any sleep about it because we are going to probably replace him in this year's draft. Now, what could you get for DeAndre Swift? Jeff Okudah went for a fifth. What could you possibly get for DeAndre Swift? I believe that DeAndre Swift is the better player. Well, here's what I think the Detroit Lions could get. They said a mid-round pick. We don't have a fourth-round pick. If we were to get a fourth-round pick for DeAndre Swift, that would be fantastic. But here's the logic that I would use and as to why we could possibly get that or a little something more depending on what the teams are willing to give. We're going to go to the Huddle Report. Here is their trade value chart, the Jimmy Johnson trade value chart that we talked about yesterday. Now, this one is a lot cleaner. You can see it where you don't hurt your eyes. It's not fuzzy, making you think you need glasses. Okay? So DeAndre Swift, if I remember correctly, was the third pick in the second round of 2020. So he sits right here with a trade value of 550. Now, if we were to cut that trade value in half and make that 275 would put him pretty much at a late second round pick. Now, that's not going to happen. If we cut it by thirds and we took it to, let's say, 115-ish, 115, somewhere around there, we could get a third round pick. We could get a third round pick for DeAndre Swift. And at worst case scenario, I think the Detroit Lions, seeing as how the trade value of this here, of the fourth round, that the worst case scenario would be a fourth round pick running from 115 points in value to 52 points in value. So my honest opinion, we're not going to get a second for him because of his play. But we could very well, to me, his floor is a fourth round pick and his ceiling is a third round pick. So those are just my thoughts. But let me know in the comments below, what do you think we could get for DeAndre Swift? Would you have I don't think any Detroit Lions fan would have a problem with DeAndre Swift being traded, especially if we were to somehow get a third round pick. That would give us 2 firsts, 2 seconds, 2 thirds. And then we would have 2 fifths and 2 sixths. That's what our draft would consist of. We would have 2 firsts, 2 seconds, 2 thirds, 2 fifths, and 2 sixths. We would have twos all across the board. But this would be outstanding. And if somehow, some way, but if we got a fourth round pick, I wouldn't be mad at that either because we don't have a fourth round pick. And I think it is going to be some value in that fourth round. Remember, Amon-Ra St. Brown was drafted in the fourth round. And Brad Holmes has a knack for massive talent. finding massive talent in the later rounds. So for me, I'm taking this expiring contract. He needs, just like Jeff Okudah, DeAndre Swift needs a fresh start. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Is this a deal you take? I think I'm going to get a resounding yes from the fan base. You guys are awesome. Take care of yourself. It is draft week, baby. Subscribe so you don't miss a video. And as always, go Lions.